You know, Wes, today I'm very thankful. I'm thankful to be able to be sitting across from your beautiful face. I'm thankful to be
Oh,
able to play poker
so
and
charming.
sometimes make money. I'm thankful for my career, thankful for my family and all my friends. And I'm also very, very thankful for all the fish in the sea. And I'm not talking
Oh,
about,
there it is. Yeah.
I'm not talking about, women or anything like that. I'm talking about
You're not talking about literal
the
you're
fish
not
in
talking about, like
poker. The
yeah,
fish in
we're talking
poker.
about you know what? If there's some of you out there listening, we're thankful for all of you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple fish listening to this at least. I know that,
Oh,
but
we know it.
yeah, no, I will say without you guys, poker wouldn't be as fruitful. So thank you for that. I'm curious if we're gonna just lose all of our listeners after this
Yeah, you know
episode.
what, though? No, we're thankful for the listeners too, because without you guys, Max and I would just be talking to each other every week, recording it and being sad because no one would wanna listen to us,
Yeah.
so we're thankful for the listeners too.
Yeah, no, well, now that I think about it, because of the fish and that give us good results, we can talk about them and build a podcast. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyways,
It makes
so,
some sense,
something
yeah.
along the lines of that. But anyways, it's Thanksgiving. The day after this comes out, and we're not going to tell bad beat stories today. We're going to tell good beat stories today. We're going to be thankful for all these good hands that have come about. And I will say this was Wes's idea, and it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, just a little feel-good thing. We're not gonna release an episode right on Thanksgiving, so, like, just a little feel-good, like, recognizing the times when we did get there or our hand did hold up in a big spot, and the end result of the tournament was us winning a lot of money, which, by the way, we're also both thankful for the results from this last weekend.
Yeah. Wow. What a weekend for the Suited Kings boys. You got second in the Rungood Main. We'll talk more about this, but you got second in the Rungood Main for 40K.
Just under 40K,
And then I
yeah.
got fifth in the Cheap and Deep Canterbury for about 14K. So it was a nice weekend for both the
Yeah,
Suited
and
Kings
you
boys.
managed to when it got to six-handed, you got an even chop where you all left
Oh,
some
you
up
know what? I'm
top.
thankful for that chop, actually. Not many times are people thankful for chops. You know what? Actually, maybe that's not true, but I'm very thankful for this chop. And maybe we'll start off with a little story time on why I'm thankful for this chop. How's that sound?
Yeah, go for it.
Before I get into the story, though, I just want to say I'm also thankful for everyone who's rated the podcast so far on all the platforms. Make sure if you have not yet to, give us a 5 star or whatever you feel is fitting on whatever platform you're listening. When you give us these higher ratings, it helps promote the podcasts and then also our search engine optimization. So, when people search poker or strategy and things like that in Spotify or Apple Podcasts, when you give us higher ratings, it helps boost us up to the top so more people can find us. So thank you for those who have done that, and thank you for those who will do that in the future. I appreciate that. Um, all right, let's get into this chop that happened this weekend at the Cheap and Deep. So the Cheap and Deep is a $300 tournament. It happens, I'd say, once every quarter, something like that, every three
Yeah,
months.
every 3 or 4 months, it feels like.
It's at Canterbury. It's a 30-minute structure, $300 buy-in. You start with 25,000 in chips. Um, I went into I didn't even plan on really playing this tournament.
You
I
didn't even realize it was happening, I
Yeah,
feel like.
I told the wife, I said, "Hey, after MSP or PT Riverside or no, after the turkey tournament at Running Aces, I was like, I don't have any other tournaments until the Bahamas." And then there happened to be this tournament. So the last flight I had some time, so I got the approval from her, and we went and fired it. I brought two bullets with me. The first bullet lasted about 25 minutes.
That's good.
I mean,
Did we
honestly,
have a friend who did you bust after you had, like, an aces or kings cracked by 7-3?
oh yeah, yeah, Mr. Mad Fox, yeah. And the other
Yeah.
dude had queens, so I would end up winning a big pot. But
Yeah,
um,
if the queens just 3-bet it,
yeah, so I
it
ended up just losing. Like, I think I played 8 pots and lost every one of them. But you know what? I'm
that
thankful for that
happens.
as well
That wasn't
because
your seed any we're thankful you busted that quickly because then you got a better
I did.
yeah.
I bought in for my second entry, and it was pretty smooth sailing from there. I ended up, just playing, I would say, tight, solid poker throughout the day. Nothing exciting to get to talk about there. I bagged 167K from the 25K starting, coming back to 6K big blind.
Yeah, that's what
So
you'd
just
say.
under 30 bigs. And that's like a pile in Minnesota. Coming back with between 20 and 30 feels absolutely great in these tournaments. Anyways, I don't want to hang on this too much because we got lots of stories to tell. But as we approach the final table, I am thankful because I ran so damn pure. Like I got ace four suited in. I opened ace four suited on the button off, I want to say like 50. I was chip leading for pretty much the entire day two of the tournament. I went from 167K to a million in probably half an hour. Like it was
Mhm.
just bing, bang, boom, bam, boom. Just kept scooping pot after pot. So yeah, anyways, like it started. I remember one hand I was thankful for is I opened ace four of hearts on the button, small blind jam, 10 bigs, big blind folded. I called off with 50 behind. He had ace jack O, and we just flopped him dead.
Oh, man.
Hit the rail, pal. I'm sorry.
GG, buddy. Yeah,
I'm thankful for your chips. Safe
we
travels on your
always
way
are.
home. Um, so, anyways, yeah, it was running absolutely pure. It's easy to run deep when you run pure. So we got to the final table, and I want to say I was chip leader entering the final table. I had roughly 4 million, which was good for I think it was 100K big blind or something like that. So I had 40 bigs. Um, I ended up running two bluffs that did not work out. Let me actually, you know what? Let's do a little hand breakdown. Can I run one by you?
Yeah, let's do it.
I was first in chips at the time. My opponent is third or fourth in chips at the time. I want to say I had 4.5 at 100K at this point, so 45 bigs. He had just under 3 million, so like 28 bigs, something like that. I'm in the cutoff. He's in the button. I open King Jack off to 200K. Folds to him. I have no idea who this player is. I've never played with him before. I didn't play with him actually prior to the final table at all, so I didn't have any experience with him. We had played there's a few hands at the final table where he just folded, so he wasn't like getting crazy or anything like that. He three bets on the button to 500,000. Do you
Okay.
just let go of King Jack O here to a cutoff to a button open? Or excuse me, hijack. I was hijack. He was button.
Yeah, I mean, and how deep was he again?
He was roughly 28 bigs. I was roughly 45.
Yeah. I mean, at a final table, I'm just letting go here.
Mm.
I
Mhm.
think,
Out of
I
position and yeah.
yeah, like, in a chippy V spot, this is small enough where we can, like, kind of call, but I think also you're the bigger stack, like, I don't especially in a live environment, I don't really think he's gonna be 3 betting
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I I considered just letting it go for sure. I think that was my initial gut instinct. But it didn't seem terrible to call. And so I did. I ended up just calling. Let's see, there's four, five, 650 in the pot, I believe, right? So
Wait,
two,
he 3
four.
bets how much?
Excuse me, five. Now there's a million there. So there's
Yeah.
1.15 in the middle, right?
Yep.
So 1.15 in the middle, which is 11 bigs, 11 and a half bigs. I love math when big blinds are like a 10,000 or
Yeah,
1,000 or
isn't it
100,000.
1 point isn't it 12.5? 'Cause 2.5 big
Yeah,
like,
math.
big
Yeah.
blind ante.
What would I do without you? Yeah.
I mean
12 and a half bigs in the pot. The flop comes ace, queen, eight, full rainbow.
mhm.
I check. He bets 200K.
Yeah, so we got a call,
So at
right?
this point, we're calling, right? So I end up
Yeah.
calling. The turn comes a banana. It was an offsuit four. I mean, it's not a banana because it's a four, and
I was gonna say, you have all the sets here now.
um, turn becomes an offsuit four. I check and flow, and he checks back.
Yeah. A quick note, I think I realize that we have a lot of recurring listeners who understand the pocket our the inside joke is pocket fours always make a set, or
Mm.
fours make the most sets, so to anyone who's, like, a new listener who didn't get that comment, we don't literally have all the set we're not gonna have pocket fours here,
Thanks
but
for clarifying.
just probably a good clarification.
Yeah, no, for
I
sure,
feel
for
like
sure.
we've gotten so comfortable with a lot of the listeners here,
There's an
but they're
it's an
always new
inside
people.
joke. So, yeah, the
Mhm.
pocket fours are. Anyways, so Let's see. So there's two 400. So there's 1.65 million in the pot. So 16 and a half bigs in the pot. The river is an so what did I say the full board is a king jack,
Ace it was ace queen 8-4.
ace queen eight, ace queen 8-4. Yep. Then
Mhm.
the river is an offsuit five. There's 16.5. What do you do, or 1.65? What are you doing here with king jack O?
How deep is our opponent?
You know what? Look at this. I'm already slaughtering the hand. I just mixed this up with a second hand. The turn was a queen, pairing the queen.
Oh, man, okay.
I mixed
Oh,
this.
that actually changes some
It
stuff.
does. It does. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. I was mixing this up with another hand. So the turn was the queen, which pairs the board. He checks back. So this tells me he can still have aces in his hand, right?
Yeah,
Not
like,
pocket aces, but an ace in his hand.
he could also have pocket aces, to be
Right,
fair.
right. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think he's checking back a lot of aces on the board I gave originally. He'd probably
That
double barrel.
yes, that does change a lot.
Where on the queen pairing turn, I think he's going to check back a lot of aces just to not try and lose his entire stack in case I do have one. Um,
And so you'd said he started the hand with 28 bigs,
he started the hand with 28 bigs. Yep.
and he's put in 7, so
So there's 16.5 in. The river is the banana of a five.
mhm.
What do you do here? I think
I
I
mean,
messed
it
up. So I turned my hand into a bluff. I'll just tell you that. And I think I messed my sizing up. Maybe not though. I want to get your thoughts here.
this is tricky because the we're trying to fold out stuff like pocket kings, which we
Yeah.
block, pocket
Yeah.
jacks, which we
Any
block,
unpaired or
10s, 9s
any
maybe.
pocket pair under aces essentially is what I'm trying to fold out. And then yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm gonna get an ace to fold at this point. So
Yeah, so what do we need to bet to get the I don't think we need to bet that much to fold those out.
okay. Well that makes
Um,
me feel better because I had that same thought.
yeah.
What
Did
sizing are
you
you going with? And then I'll tell you what I did. So there's
the pot is
1.65. I keep calling it 16.5.
yeah, I honestly think we could block bet, like, 450.
450.
Yeah. Yeah, like, between quarter and the third, I actually
I
think
was
would fold up.
afraid that he's just gonna hero too many of his lower pairs if I do that.
I guess the way I look at I guess I don't right, and it's like whatever you think if you think he will, the problem is if we go too big, like, do we do we're sure there's a world where some players well, no. So if our opponent is gonna hero with their pocket pairs against the small size, there's probably no size that's going to fold out an ace, which means like at a certain point, if we just bet if the bluff requires too many chips, like it's just going to be unprofitable because
I
like
agree.
I think we
Well
are
said.
the thing we have to kind of come to terms with here is we are mostly getting called. Like we're mostly going to lose this bet, but that's fine because we're only risking. Let's say we bet 400K here. We're risking 400K to win 1.6 million.
Okay.
So we're not our expectation is not to get a fold at a high frequency. It's it's only a bad bet if we get called and they show like jacks or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. So I ended up going with roughly 40%. I bet 700,000.
Okay. And I assume you get called here.
He tanked for probably 2 minutes to the point where I was about to call clock onto him as like a tactic to try and get him to fold, like a strength. I
Mhm.
don't know if that works or not, so I didn't do it. But
Yeah, I don't know if it does either.
I considered calling clock on him, and I didn't. And after about 2 minutes, he flicks in a call, and I'm like, fudge. So I sheepishly peel over the king jack. Actually, I didn't even sheepishly. I windmilled that bluff
Yeah,
right into the middle and said, yeah, beat that.
yeah.
He did beat that with his pocket nines.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So I lost a pretty good pile on that hand there, unfortunately.
I guess here's what I'll say. Maybe you're like he doesn't block Jack 10 suited, I guess, but I feel like you can still have 10-9 suited, Jack 9 suited if you can have King Jack off for sure. I don't know. I think he should especially against your sizing.
Yeah.
I think he should pretty much call all his aces and then fold.
All the other pairs.
Yeah, it
So I
seems
mean,
like
so do you
that.
think well played or not well played? Obviously, pre-flop we can
I
fold.
think pre-flop, yeah. Otherwise, I'd say like pre-flop fold, flop good. turn we're not
Yeah.
maybe turn we can donk, actually. Now that I'm thinking I
I
didn't because we
considered
got the
donking
turn
I
wrong.
considered donking on this turn. If
I
I did, I
actually
bet I would have won this hand. Donk and then bet to river as well. I feel like I just win this hand every time.
yeah, because we had thought the turn was a 4 at first, so in this case, like, when the queen pairs on turn, maybe we like,
For
can we
him,
just lead 1/5 pot on turn and then bet again river? That I mean, he might just fold turn because with nines, he's like, "Okay, I'm bluff catching, and I'm hoping the river's a brick, and I need to bluff catch again on
yeah,
river,
yeah, that's
and
why
it's
I
the final
love
table."
I do love like I don't donk much, and we've talked about this on the podcast, but I do love donk betting out of position, or I guess that's always out of position, but donk betting these middle pair, uh, our middle, pair turns or whatever, however you want to word that.
Yeah. The main thing is, like, is he going to have like, what's he doing with king queen pre-flop, queen
Yeah,
jack
I
suited?
don't think
Mainly
he's three
mainly king
betting it.
queen off, like, what is he doing?
So
I'm actually surprised he 3 bet nines.
I was as well. I was as well, but it is what it is. So I ended up losing that pot, and so I actually ran another bluff that did not work. Where I opened button. Also, shout out to uh, Jeff who won the tournament.
Yeah, Manzo is
Manzo,
his
yeah, Manzo
nickname. I've
Poker.
played in a lot of home games with
For some
him.
reason, I was having a
Friend
brain
of
fart
mine,
there. Yeah,
yeah.
Jeff. But anyways, yeah, we've been playing for many years together. Great guy. I opened the button with King 10, King 10-0.
Mhm,
He calls. The flop comes 8-4-4 rainbow. Check. I bet third pot, or I bet under third pot. He calls. I bet quarter
mhm.
pot. He calls. Turn is an ace. He checks. I bet 75%. He calls, and I'm like, sheesh. All right. Well, the river's a queen. So it's eight,
Mm.
4-4, ace, queen. And I'm like, I have to bet this river. Like, I'm just getting him to fold all of his eight X's and pairs like five. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is tough because, like,
He can sometimes have
there
an ace here. I'm aware of that.
yeah.
Like, float me with an ace on this board and then return the pair. But
So how deep did you start with him? I get
him and I
he's
were
not
one. Him and I were 1 and 2, actually.
yeah. And I also guess, like, regardless, even if there's some ace X he's supposed to 3 bet pre, he maybe is not gonna do that very much. Here's my thought on the turn is, like, when we see bet king 10 on the flop, it's not so much that we're folding out better hands, it's like we're just kinda clearing out the hidden equity,
Yeah,
like
and well,
jack
yeah,
9
we're
off
just
or something.
exactly. Yep.
So when he calls flop, he's gonna have some 8x, some 4x, some ace high, some
And
gut shots.
some low pairs.
Yeah, if those weren't jammed, and if you guys are 1-2, like,
We're
I
one
think
two.
he's
He's
yeah,
never raising or
he's
jamming. Yeah.
yeah, so totally, and then so on turn my thought on turn is, like, king high, we can even just check, but then when
Just
we
hoping he has
bet
like 5, 6, 6, 7, something like that for those
y
gutters.
yeah, and it's like sneakily the ace is not actually it doesn't actually favor us.
Okay.
Like, it might be neutral, you know?
Yeah, I can agree with that. So uh I end up bombing the river on the queen, and he tanks and he tanks and he tanks and he calls. And he flips over 8, 6 of hearts.
Oh. Oh god.
And he looks at me and he goes, "Is that one making the pot?" And I was like, "Not a chance."
But here it is.
Here it is. Nice
Oh,
call, buddy.
the needle at the final table too, like, that's
Yeah, yeah.
when the
Um,
money is real, like,
so
day 1, if someone slaps us
I know we were
around, that's a
mentioning
fair
chop and how
comment.
I came into I just kind of wanted to explain two hands where I ran two bluffs. That made sense to me personally. But anyways, I ended up going to, so I was down to, after those two hands and then another hand, I was down to 13 and a half big blinds with six people left.
Mhm.
I was guaranteed 5,600 at the point. There was one other person. I was 5 of 6, where six had pretty much the exact same stack as me. We were both, the blinds were now at 150K, and we both had 2 million, just under 2 million. I'm looking around. There's two 6 million stacks, a 5 million stack. Or excuse me, there's two 5 million stacks and a 4 million stack. Anyways, it all starts to fade me at this point. But I'm thinking at this point, I'm like, I did not plan on chopping at all. But if I could lock up an even chop amongst all six of these guys right now, that would be an absolute slam dunk for me. So I said, hey guys, how interested would you guys be in even chop? And what I did was I looked at the board, I looked at all the places left to see what the remaining prize pool was. I divided that by six. It was roughly 14,000. It was 14,300 to be exact, but I said 14,000 just as a rough estimate. And all of their eyes lit up. They're like, even the chip leader was like, I can take home $14,000 locked up right now.
Yeah, and that's I guess I don't remember, but that's probably even more than 3rd place?
It's actually just under third place.
Just under 3rd
Just under
place?
third
Okay.
place. Yep. So I got the thumbs up from everybody immediately. And then Kari, the tournament director, told us that we have to leave 10% of the prize pool to play for and the trophy.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually remember doing that once where we didn't leave money up top, and he was like the other director
Yeah.
told us, like, "If you guys even shop, you can only finish this level." And
And
then,
just to
like
clarify, the 14.3K was after the 9K was taken out of the prize pool because there's roughly 90,000 left in the prize pool or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
You
Or what
looking
was it, 13 how much did you end up
I
shopping for?
14.3K or 14.3K. Yeah.
Okay, for some reason I thought 13.5, but,
No,
um
14.3. So I ended
yeah,
up
so
locking
that's
that up and then going out in fifth place. So I'm thankful that I decided to make a chop here, where I got essentially double what I would have gotten otherwise.
yeah, that's huge.
That was a long story, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, that one went 20 minutes. This might be a normal length episode now that we're now that
But
we're
but I'm thankful for that chop. And actually, I want to tell you one more story from this tournament, before we move on. And I'm thankful for it, even though it didn't. You'll understand what I mean. So let's just get to the action here. I have 1.3 million at 15K big blind. So we're going back in time earlier into day
oh,
two.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm under the gun with ace king off, and I open it to 30K.
terrible.
Middle position, middle position. Who is I'm currently chip leader. He's second in chips with 1.1 million. He
Mhm.
makes it 75,000. I'm immediately not loving this with ace king. My initial gut is we're just flatting the three bet and we're going to just
Yeah,
see a flop.
I
It
agree.
seems so disastrous being this deep, against the other chip leader of the tournament to blast off with ace king here. So that was my plan. However, something happened.
Mhm.
Cutoff did not see the three bet from the middle position player and just calls my 30K. And he's
Yep.
still got his hand on the chips. And we're like, hey, there's a three bet. And before he takes his hand off the chips, he pulls it back and announces I'm all in for 800,000 at 15K big blind. I mean, I was so blown away by what was happening in the moment that I didn't even realize that he is supposed to be stuck calling and can't jam. And no one
Yeah.
everyone at just kind of, it was just so weird. It was such a weird moment because I know the rules of the game and I would always call that out that he cannot
Mhm.
just take that bet back and then turn it into an all in.
Yeah.
Not even the dealer at the table like picked it up. And it sounds weird to say, but it was just so, like so bizarre that he just announced all in all of a sudden that no one picked it up. And it folds back to me and I just let ace king go because of
Yep.
the bigger stack behind me who three bet me. So I just let it go. And the big stack behind me calls and he's got queens and the cutoff gentleman who tried to just call my raise and then backjammed, or kind of backjam, whatever you want to call it, has
Yeah.
pocket jacks. Now he's out of the tournament when he had 800,000 at 15K big blind. First off, guys, pay attention to the action and don't do stupid shit like that. If
Mhm.
if if the rulings were correct, he wouldn't even probably be out of the tournament. Maybe he would have because it was a 9 high flop. But the reason I'm thankful for this is because if he ended up just calling, the three bet instead of jamming, which wasn't even allowed, I would have four bet because of his dead money more than likely. Where I was planning on just calling the three bet because of the dead
Mhm.
money, I'm more inclined I feel to four bet. So that was the plan. It would have been a non all in four bet, something probably around 250K, something like that,
Sure.
out of position. And then I would have C bet, got called by the queens, and then probably check folded the turn when he bet in position, right? I would have ended
Mhm.
up rivering the wheel to win this massive like 2.5
Yeah.
million chip pot or whatever, or like 3 million chip pot, whatever it was. But I'm thankful because I would have never got to see that river. And instead of losing, 500, 600K, I just lost my 30K.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
That's a good beat, right?
It
Even though
is
I
a
would have
good
won
beat.
the hand, I don't see a universe where I would have got to the river. It was a 9 high flop. It was like 9 deuce 5, and then it ran out 3-4.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, I'm thankful for that
That's a
weird shit that
crazy hand.
yeah, I couldn't believe it. And this is deep into I mean, this is in a day two in the money of a tournament. So I'm thankful for that, Wes. I'm thankful that
Good.
worked out. And so I was able to make a super deep run now because of it.
Yeah.
You want to tell me a good
Nice.
beat story?
Yeah. Well, actually, so man, there are a few that I was gonna talk about. We'll start with my weekend, though. As many of you will know, and this is the funny story too, like, on Wednesday, the first flight of this 300 that Max chopped up, I fired 3 bullets, didn't make day 2. Thursday, bunch of buddies, we had a home game, which I was actually the big winner at, not a ton of
Yeah, by the
money,
way,
but
you won the home game trophy, the GOAT,
I
we
did,
call it.
I did.
Yes. You're lucky I
Um,
wasn't there. And then yeah.
I we knew yeah,
Mm.
okay. You're lucky you weren't there, buddy.
Yeah.
It was my day.
It was. Okay.
Anyway, so Friday I come in, I bust 1 bullet in the 300, and actually our buddy Rob, who hosts that game, I was talking to him on break on Friday, and I was telling him like, "Yeah, I figured I was thinking about maybe going to Iowa or to the MSPT, but it's like we have a local tournament, so why wouldn't I play that?" And then as I'm saying that, I'm like, why do I feel like I should be at this Run Good event in Iowa? Like, why does that suddenly appeal to me so much?
Really?
And
Okay.
I was still in the 300, I was still in the cheap and deep, but I busted soon after, and I looked up the structure for Iowa, and I'm like, there are indeed 2 day 1 flights on Saturday, so even if I'm only going down for 1 day, I can still have a real, you know, shot to bag, right? I busted my first bullet, but I rebought on the first flight, and I did end up bagging a big stack there.
You mean on the what? Oh, on the first flight of the two
First
flight
flight,
day. Yeah.
yeah. There was a flight Friday, so it was the 2nd overall, but I think coming into day 2, I was like 5 out of 46, so good spot,
Yeah, you ran up a
and
nice pile.
yeah, and boy, there are a decent amount of hands to be thankful for. I'll just to spoil the ending for those who don't know, I ended up getting 2nd place for 39.9K off an $800 buy-in, so huge weekend. I guess first thing to be thankful for is that I just randomly decided, like, last minute I was thinking about driving down Friday, and I'm like, "How about I get to bed early?" And by early, I mean a normal time for most people, but early for a
Early
poker
for you is
player.
like 1 AM.
Exactly, yeah, and I woke up just after 7 a.m. and drove down there, left at
I
8.
don't remember the last time I stayed up till 1 AM, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
Yeah,
could not
yeah.
tell you.
Anyways, yeah, so I bagged up, I got 2nd place, so there are a few hands that really changed the course of things, and there are really some interesting hands that I think I told you this, there were 3 spots where I went against my initial instincts, and 2 of them there were all times when I decided to call the river, and 2 of them I actually caught my opponent bluffing, so, like,
It's not often you hear someone say they're thankful for going against their gut.
yeah, but I think I've been thinking about that a lot recently where it's like, you have to be very certain to go with your gut in a spot where it's not really the quote unquote "correct play."
Right.
I guess it depends on the situation, but do we wanna get into those hands? Actually, maybe one of them we'll get into.
Okay.
I think two of them were not as
Let
interesting, but
let's do one of them.
yeah. So this one here, we are actually on the stone bubble. On my flight, 22 bag 23 were 23 remains, and I had plenty of chips. I had a little over 300K. We were at the 8K big blinds, and I was in the big blind. My table was 7-handed, under the gun +1, so low jack. He opens the 17K off of about 200. He had like 200K. And I'm in the big blind. I have jack of diamonds, 8 of spades,
Call.
call. If I was short here, I'd just fold
Yep.
because we're on the bubble and
Yeah.
want to cash, and he can put a lot of pressure on me. But here we have him covered. It's a good price. I'm calling. Flop is king of spades, jack of spades, 3 of hearts or
Okay.
diamonds.
So you got middle pair, backdoor flush draw?
Yep. I check call 17K. I don't think there's a ton to
Nope.
discuss there.
Nope.
Turn is the 4 of spades.
Okay.
I check. He checks back, which we're happy about.
Yeah.
Like, part of the I think it can be easy to wanna just stay away from these spots near the bubble, but part of the math here is, like, we have him covered. He's probably not gonna just blast his stack off as a bluff here, and so we're gonna get to realize our equity a decent amount. And the river's the 5 of spades, so just a reminder, king of spades, jack of spades, 3, 4 of spades, 5 of spades.
You
So
have
we
an
we
8
now have
high flush draw.
the
I mean,
flush.
8
Yeah,
high
we have
flush rather, not draw.
yes, yeah. So I check, and I think, like, he's gonna have a lot of high cards in his range, right? So I think it makes sense. And so the pot's 80K, and he decides to bet 56K. And I sent this hand to both you and another
I do
buddy,
remember now, yeah.
and
Did I give the same answer as him?
you guys both said your instinct was to fold, and I was like, as he was starting to bet, that was kinda my thought too. But then I'm like, "Hang on, hang on." First off, like, he's not risking his whole stack. He'll have, like, a little over 100K left. Like, if we call and he loses, he can still easily cash, right? Second off, like, this is a good spot, or second off, I should say, I don't really see someone betting the 9 or 10 of spades for this size.
Right, yeah.
So he's saying he has
Agreed.
the ace or queen of spades, and also, if he has the ace or queen of spades, those hands are gonna bet some frequency on the turn too, right?
Uh, I maybe. I kind of and kind of don't agree with that. The reason is because of your point earlier where he just kind of wants to realize his equity being near the bubble and not try and punt off a stack.
Yeah, true, but I guess I'm also saying, like, when he has the ace of spades, some of the times he'll have another spade, and we can kind of rule that out completely when he checks turn. Like, he didn't turn a flush, right? So he's
Right.
repping the 1 card flush.
Yep.
If he has, like, ace of spades 10 or ace of spades queen, he's gonna at least sometimes bluff the turn there.
Yeah, I can
But
agree.
I agree with what you're saying that he's gonna wanna realize a decent amount of the time too. And also, it's like, I will have also, I'm like, "Okay, wait, why am I know in theory I'm just pretty much supposed to call with a spade and mostly fold without. Like, why am I so quick to just, like, go away from that?" And I sort of challenged my instincts there, and I'm like, "You know what? Like, yes, this will be I'm not putting him on a bluff here, right? I I am saying, like, he will have the ace or queen of spades a pretty reasonable amount of the time, but, like, I only need to be right maybe 30, maybe less than 30% of the time. Something, 30, we'll say 30% of the time here." And I'm like, why am I so, like, why am I not giving this guy credit to be able to bluff? Like, I've seen him, he seems like a fine player. I don't have a huge read on him one way or the other, but this big sizing, while it does give me a worse price, is also, like, pretty polarizing. And so I do kind of, and by the way, if I call and I'm wrong, I think I was gonna have exactly 200K left.
Plus, it kind of makes sense for him to bluff this river too, because there's a lot of hands that you would call flop with that you would now fold. Like you
Right, like,
what pair
if
jacks,
he
for
can't
which
if
exactly
he
you have.
cannot beat a king or a jack, like, I literally do have a jack, but I
Yeah.
also just, my kicker happens to be a spade.
Yeah.
So I call in, he has pocket nines with no spade, which is nice. So I
Imagine if
think,
you had pocket nines with a spade.
yeah, that'd be too bad. You
He
know,
probably wouldn't bet, but that one he probably wouldn't bet. He'd probably just check it. So
yeah, or maybe go
bet
cute,
small.
like 30K or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
I agree.
So
Just try and get some real thin value out of it. So I, I'm
yeah.
I, I'm thankful you caught that bluff because that propelled you to a super deep run.
It did, and then so some of the other hands I'm thankful for from that run, they're not strategic spots necessarily, but 2 or 3 hands into the final table, I get jacks under the gun, open to 60K at 30K. I have 1.1 million. Cutoff goes 160K. The small blind then cold 4-bet rips for 560, and jacks are just in the muck, and cutoff calls with kings, and the small blind had ace jack of spades, which should just always be a fold there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if he folds, I call with the jacks. The flop was 9 deuce deuce. I would have called at least one bet. Like, I'm thankful that he honestly kind of punted with his ace jack suited there, because it saved me a bunch of chips in this spot. And I'm I'm thankful for the all in on day 1 at some point, I got aces versus ace king against a guy who had a decent stack, and so I went from, like so I doubled through him from, like, 120 to 250 at 5K big blind, and then I doubled him up for his 2 big blinds, and he doubled again, so he was back up to, like, 70 or 80K. And then I won a flip ace king versus his tens. So like I won some all ins there. At the final table, I had and these weren't all even a lot of these were small pots, but I had pocket threes hold against a short stack who had ace 10. I had jacks hold against a short stack who had ace jack. I had with four left, I had jacks hold against nines, which yes, I'm a big favorite, but we were second and third. Like the guy in fourth was a short stack, and I barely had the guy in third covered. So like, if jacks don't hold against nines there, maybe I go out in fourth for 16K instead of
Yeah,
39.
yeah. I mean, it's funny how many little things could just completely change the outcome. I will say, I am very thankful for the positive side of variance, but with that, I'm also thankful, and I hate to say this, but I'm thankful for the negative side of variance as well because it makes the positive side just that much sweeter when it
Oh
happens.
yeah, I mean it's the whole game. It's it's such a unique game where like truly some spots do come down to chance. It's like I can look at how I played this weekend and be happy with most of it, but also recognize that like without these big spots where I either coolered someone or just a normal flip like that I won, I wouldn't have made the run I did without those. And yet with 3 left, I won fours versus queen 5 suited blind versus blind to bust the guy in third, and then I got slaughtered heads up, mostly due to variance, but like is what is it? We're happy with second place finishes pay the bills in
Y
poker, that's
They
for
do,
sure.
they really do. No, it yeah, I walked away from my tournament feeling like $1,000,000, even though I kinda blasted off with 2 bluffs. I feel like those bluffs were, um it's not like I bluff all the time, they're just 2 spots where I felt like it felt like the right bluff, right? So I went with it, and I'm still, happy that I made those decisions even though they didn't work out. I will say, though, on that hand where that guy called me on the river with nines,
Mhm.
I in the river when I was trying to decide what sizing I wanted to bluff with, I almost went with the all-in sizing to try and get him to fold an ace as well.
Yeah.
Overbet pot jam and try and get him to fold an ace, and I kind of wish I did that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it's tough to say in retrospect,
I mean,
but
he just never has a queen here, right? And I should just always and he should just be folding everything else if you think about it, right? I don't wanna linger on that too
maybe.
long.
Yeah, like, not literally, but he's rarely going to have a queen. Also, if he does have a queen, like, you block his queen combos, which is
Oh,
kinda nice.
you know what else I'm thankful for? Just catching massive punts at big final tables. The MSPT, oh my gosh, this one was just glorious. I think I had already mentioned this one, but on the pod, maybe I did. But yeah, I
Yeah.
opened Ace King off in earlier position um, against a gentleman who just told me that he's not folding the next time we play a pot together.
Mhm.
And he's in the big. He just happens to be in the big blind this hand. He calls. The flop comes ace deuce, ace four deuce rainbow. He just donks. You know what? I don't even remember the sides at this point. It doesn't matter. But I want to say he donked like roughly half pot, something like that. And with my hand being so strong, we obviously are just calling here. So
Mhm.
we just call. The turn comes an offsuit eight, and he just overbet jams. I just snap call, and he's just got king eight
King
offsuit.
A.
And this is
Yeah.
at an MSPT final table with 130 or $40,000 up top, or whatever it might be, or whatever it was. And yeah, I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
It's. I'm thankful that you can in this day and age, still run into still, find spots like that because it's hard to do it, like especially at that stage of the tournament. So I'm thankful.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. I'm actually gonna throw on a similar note, I'm gonna throw back to the very first episode or 2 of this podcast. Mr. Trexler, do you Do you remember?
Oh, yes, we are thankful for Trexler. If you guys never listened to the OG Suited Kings podcast, probably the first few episodes where we talk about Wes's WSOP Gladiator run. Yeah, let's talk about Trexler.
Yeah, I mean, hey, so I got 3rd in that tournament for 210K. He still got 2nd for 305, so, like, credit to
Hashtag
him.
Team Torch.
Yeah, so the story was, like, his whole rail and him had this patch on their shirt just said Team Torch, and he certainly played like a man who wanted to torch it all. He 3-bet jammed 5 deuce off and windmilled it once.
With
He
a half
blind
a
versus
million
blind.
dollars up at a final table. Like, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, and, like, at a pivotal spot, he just bluffed into my full house, and it gave me like, he jammed into my full house when he was drawing dead, and he gave me a full double up there. In terms of that run as a whole, I mean, I would say there were a lot of spots, a few of which I remember pretty well, but, like, I remember on day 1, right after the bubble burst, I jammed ace jack, and the big blind folded pocket tens for some reason, and if he calls, I'm just out there, like, a little over half the time. I won some all-ins, like, even just stuff like ace queen versus king jack, holding in those spots. At the end of day 1, I caught a massive heater, had a guy 4-bet rip ace jack right into my aces, like, that propelled me. On day 2, I don't necessarily remember day 2, just getting big hands at the right time, but then day 3 with, like, 14, 13, 12 left, there were 2 blind versus blind all-ins where I called off. Like, one was I had, like, 5 or 6 bigs, and he had 10-9 against my queen 6 suited, and we just get a brick run out, and I hold, and then, my ace 10, I wanna say, against his king deuce or king 3 a couple orbits later, and I hold again,
I want to
and
challenge our listeners to, you know, and if it's only for this week, be thankful for the small pots you win. Be thankful for the big pots you win. Push back and don't even think about the pots you lose. Um,
yeah, I
everybody forgets the ones they win, and it makes it, and then they remember the ones they lose, and it seems then they get into this mentality that they just lose way more than they win when it's really not true. It's just not as memorable when they're winning the pots. It's easier to be.
yeah. Oh, totally. Because and I think that from a actual poker playing standpoint, that is if you're gonna get a takeaway from this, that is what it should be. Like, I look back at I got 3rd for 210K in that tournament, and, like, even getting all the way to the day 3 top 14, that's massive, but I was only cashing for 23 or 29K or something, and if I just lose one of those, like, 60-40-ish type spots, that's a hell of a lot of money I don't, walk home with, and so they were standard spots for both me and the small blind, and my hand like, if you do 2 60-40s in a row, even if you're the favorite, you're still you're going to lose the chances that you win both of those is only, like, 36%, right? So it's I don't know, I think it's a good perspective to have. If I were to think of one more, I would think my first really big score in a tournament, I remember the bubble had burst, and I had ripped ace 5 suited and got called by tens and spiked an ace, and, like, instead of cashing for 2 or 3 grand, it was 77, and that sort of propelled my whole poker career. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
um, yeah, and
There's a
there
lot to be thankful, and
yeah.
it's I feel like most people, maybe not most people, a lot of people at minimum, overlook all of the small stuff that they can be thankful for, and get stuck on the things that don't go their way. So, if you first off, you wanna improve your mindset in poker, start appreciating every little pot you win and try and hang on to them and remember them, because when you start comparing those to the ones you lose, you're going to remember the ones you lose way more, and you're just not going to have a winning mindset.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I largely agree. Here's actually where I'm at in a weird way. So I had a buddy ask me, like, this weekend, what's it feel like to just hit a score like that, you know? He was I'm like, "Honestly, I don't even feel anything." Like, in a weird way, for me, it's like, of course, I'm super happy about getting a big score like that, but just get, get to a place where you're not even like
No, and don't
really too emotionally invested in it.
100% agree with you, and I'm the same way, like, I hit that, the 51 or whatever was it, 51K
Yeah,
or
51, right?
um, yeah, and I had no emotional connection to to those finances, and I think that it gets easier the more you put yourself in that spot, but,
Mhm.
don't get that confused with being thankful. Being thankful is not being emotional, it's just appreciating the
Yes, totally.
so I think that's kind of an important distinguishment.
Yeah,
I'm on like 700 milligrams of coffee today. I think my brain is like the opposite of
it's
tired. It's
about to
just
blow.
literally about to blow. It's like, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, it's been a wild ride. Life gets tough. I've had a lot of definitely trials this year, but when I set those aside and think of all the good things that have also happened, uh, I am thankful. I have my health. I got this podcast. I got my wife. Most importantly, I got my family. Got my kitty Juno, who I love obviously so much, and my baby boy on the way. It's just
Yeah.
one of the things I do, and this is apart from poker, but one thing I do regularly that just helps my mindset with life, and I definitely suggest that everybody try this because it has changed my life significantly. Is and you might not do it every day. I sometimes forget to do it, but take 5 to 10 minutes and visually think about everything you're thankful for in life. I go through each one of my family members. And I vision them in my mind, and I'm thankful for them. And I go through each one of them that I love so much. Not only does that change the outcome of your day, it just puts you in a better mood. You're gonna have a better day when you do that. And it doesn't just have to be your family or your loved ones. It can be thankful that you didn't get fired from work today. Thankful that you're just alive on this planet. Yeah, just be thankful. I'd probably
Yeah.
let's get a thankful counter. By the way, it's probably about 200.
Yeah, it's probably 58, I don't know. Daniel Kennedy will probably do it for us.
Awesome. I'm. You know what? Today I'm even thankful for Daniel
For
Kennedy.
Dan Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Everyone I mean,
You
we
know
gotta
why?
edit that out,
You know
right?
why? Global owed me a Monster Stack trophy, and I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, I know you got the hookup at Global. Talk to your guys." And he hooked me up with a link, and I got sent my trophy code today. So I'm thankful.
Nice.
He looked out. So that was awesome. Thank you, Daniel, for that.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Any last things you want to wrap up with here?
Man, yeah, interesting episode. I mean,
It's a different one. It
yeah,
definitely
it's
is
a
different.
different one, a little quicker. Um, hope you all yeah, not really, hope you all have a fun Thanksgiving if you're doing anything this
Yeah.
weekend.
Eat a lot of green bean casserole, my personal favorite. A lot of turkey, gravy. Ooh,
There you go.
mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes, that's probably my favorite, the mashed potatoes.
It's a very robotic thing to say.
I'm a robotic man.
I don't know why that's robotic. I don't think that's
I
robotic.
don't actually know either, but
But yeah,
you have too much caffeine in you today.
yeah. Again, my brain is about to blow up. But yeah, it was an interesting episode. It's probably been roughly an hour here. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed some of the good beats that we took and talking about that. And then also, we want to just kind of take a second to be thankful and thank that our Patreon members
We
who
do.
who have signed up and have been enjoying the training content that we put out. We do lots of hand breakdowns. Actually, Wes did the first study session yesterday with our what's that tier called again? The super degen
The
crazy.
psycho degen tier. So yeah. So we do a monthly that's actually a good thing to mention again. We should keep bringing that. But we have, the top 2 tiers of Patreon. You get a 2-hour session each month of coaching. It will be a group session moving forward. Yeah, so if you are interested in improving your game, absolutely a great way to do so. If you want a little if you're not sure yet, if you want to just take a look at some of the videos,
Which we
our
have what 50 now or something.
it's over 50. We do a weekly I was gonna say weekly hand of the week. That's kind of implied in the name.
It's
Um,
redundant, yes.
yes. We have a hand of the week that comes out every Friday that we analyze. That's actually available not just to the paying members, but even if you're a free Patreon member, you get the hand of the week. And I have put a select, I think 3 videos that are available to everybody. So even if you literally just wanna sign up for free, you can check out a couple of videos and just see how we study, see how I will, look over spots. And if you're interested, definitely look for one of the study tiers. The study tier is not the coaching tier, but it's a much more affordable way to maybe improve your game a little bit. You can suggest hands of the week. You can suggest study content, etc. Um,
Yeah, we take all that feedback and try and, tailor content around it to specifically help your game, right? So make sure to
yes,
check all that out. And also, if you haven't already, our Discord is now rounding 330 members and growing quickly. Appreciate everyone who's already in there and joined. If you're not in there, it's a great community of poker players. It's a great place to meet friends, a great place to talk poker, a great place to improve your game, just a great place to, talk about whatever you want poker related. So if you haven't yet, make sure to join our Discord. The link for that, the Discord, the Patreon, for all the goodies is going to be in the show notes wherever you're listening to this. So make sure to check that out. Um, Also, our club's poker meetup game. If you want a chance to just kind of splash around with Wes and we splash.
or try and kick our ass.
Yeah,
Honestly, whatever you feel like
yeah.
doing.
Play your best poker because you is a good chance you will win our money if you do. So every other Tuesday, which next Tuesday the 2nd, am I right? Is that close?
I think you're right. I
Did
think
I
you're right.
nail it?
Yeah.
You know why I knew that? Because I'm leaving for Bahamas on Wednesday the 3rd. I kind of
Oh,
cheated.
nice, nice.
Got him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that Tuesday night we'll have our next clubs meetup game. If you haven't signed up to clubs yet, please do so using the link in the description. That helps support the podcast. So make sure to do that. Join us in that. And that meetup game always ends up getting somewhere between 20 to 40 entries actually, with
Yeah.
roughly somewhere between 5 to 800 sweeps coins up top to the winner for a 55 buy-in. So it's usually a few tables. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of throwing shit, a lot of
Yeah,
flaming
literally the
arrows, a
emojis.
lot of
Yeah.
tomato throwing, all of that good stuff. A lot of fun stuff on there. So make sure to check that out. And then a lot of me and Wes just throwing jabs at each other.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
So yeah, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this podcast and supporting us. I hope you guys all get to enjoy your Thanksgiving with your families, your friends, with your your pets, whoever it might be. And Wes, you too. I hope you have a great week.
I hope you do too,
This
Max.
is the only week I'll ever say that.
Oh my god, yeah. You even called me handsome recently. Like
Dude,
it's getting
I've
a
called you
little.
handsome before. Get out of here.
That's true. But the frequency got a little higher.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
it's that, the final tables you're kinda just feeling good, feeling like spreading the love a little bit.
we've had some heat, both of us lately. So I'm very thankful for that as well. Guys, see you in the next episode of the Suited Kings podcast.